Let's start with the prayer. Om
Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Om Namah Paramarishibhyo Namah Paramarishibhyaha. Om Namah Paramarishibhyo Namah Paramarishibhyaha. Om Purnamadaha Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnamevavashishyate.
Om Ishavashyamidagam sarvam Yatkincha jagatyam jagat Tenatyakatena buddhitaha Magrudah kasya dhanam Om Yatam Narayana Padashritam Srimanarayanam Vande Yatishvarasyajusam Krishnam Kamalapatraksham Punyashravanakirtanam Vasudevam Jagatyonim Narayanam Harim Krishna Yadavedaya Jnanamudraya Yogine Nathaya Rukminishaya Namo Vedanta Vedane Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha Jai Shri Narayana.
Jai Shri Narayana. Today is 20th June 2022. Last week we covered slokas
until 3 and
1, 2 and 3,
yeah.
Okay, chapter 1. Okay, we'll start with sloka 4. And share the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Chapter 1, sloka 4. Okay. Okay. Let's stand. Atra surah maheshwasaha
Atra Shura
Maheshwasa
Bhimarjuna samayudhi
Samayudhi
Yuyudhano viratascha
Yuyudhano Viratascha
Drupadascha maharatha.
Drupadascha Maharatha.
Let's chant together.
Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhimarjuna Samayudhi Yuyudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharatha.
Okay. So Duryodhana is speaking these words, right? So he's
Sharing it. You don't see sharing.
yeah. I mean, I stopped sharing.
Okay.
So Duryodhana is saying these words. He's explaining about the enemy army, that is Pandava's army, right? So he's saying that in that army, in Pandava's army, Atra, that is here, he's talking about here in the war field, Bhimarjana Samahidhi. In the war field, there are all these Shura, the you know, brave and powerful warriors, right? The Shuraha, those are present who are equivalent to or equal in power to Bhima and Arjuna. So Bhima and Arjuna are the most powerful, very well renowned. So he's saying that there are lot of warriors in Pandava army who are as powerful as Bhima and Arjuna. Okay. And who are they? So he started listing several of the warriors, in Pandava side. He started with Yuyudhanaha. First is Satyaki, then Virataha. Virata is the king Virata. Then Drupadaha. Drupada is Draupadi's father, right? So Drupada is another king. Maharadha, they are Maharadhas. Okay, so Maharadha is one who can fight with thousands of people at the same time. So typically they have ranks in the army. So Maharadha is very, very high rank. They are so powerful that they can fight with thousands and thousands of warriors. In some places they wrote it as 10,000. Basically, they can fight with many thousands of warriors at the same time. It is almost like we have multiple processors, right? We have in our computers we have quad core, octa core, like that. I mean, imagine one person can fight with say 10,000 warriors at the same time. That is Maharatha. So Duryodhana is saying there are several Maharathas in Pandava army, and those are equal to Bhima and Arjuna in power, right? So Maheshwasa is they're very well qualified in archery. They're and they're Sura. They're brave and powerful. So he listed three in this sloka: Yuyudhanaha, Virataha, and Drupadaha. Okay. So in this way, he is going to list about 18 warriors. So we'll see in the next few slokas the names of all those 18 warriors, and then see why he's saying all these warriors. See, the situation is that Duryodhana ran to his guru and started saying all these things just before start of the war, right? So that is the situation. So, and he's explaining about he's recounting or recollecting all these Maharathas. Okay, so we need to think why Duryodhana has to do that, right? I mean, won't his guru Acharya know about that? Definitely, he must be knowing about all these warriors, right? So why is he going there? Is basically he has that fear, built up in in him, that there are so many warriors in the opposite side, and he also has some kind of he wants to blame his guru, right, for what has happened, So he started in the third sloka saying that Drishtadyumna is your disciple, right? So your disciple, under your disciple or by your disciple, all the Pandava army is very well organized. So he's saying that to kind of blame his guru Dronacharya for the situation, that Duryodhana is in, right? So Duryodhana is the one who paid he thinks, Duryodhana thinks that he is the king, right? He is the supreme in Kaurava dynasty, and he is the king of the kingdom, and he was paying this Dronacharya, his guru, to teach all this, or his kingdom is paying. When he was little, his father is paying. So he thinks that his guru is kind of he's getting money from him, right? From his family or from his kingdom, and he kind of helped the enemy, isn't it? Like all this is not there, but you have to put ourselves in the feet of the shoes of Duryodhana and see, based on all his character, the reason why he is going and speaking all these things to his guru is because he's kind of frustrated. He is having fear. He's having that anger, built upon him, in himself, and then he wants to just go and show it to his guru on his face, basically. So he's telling that there are all these Maharathas in Pandava army. So that is Yuyudhanaha, Virataha, and Drupadaha in this sloka. Okay, and few more in the next slokas. Any questions on this? No? Okay, so let us I'll share the screen again. Sloka 5. Okay. So Duryodhana is recounting few more warriors in this particular sloka. Okay. Drishtaketuschekitanaha
Drashtaketuschekitanaha
Kasirajascha Viryavan
Rajasya Vidyavan
Purujit Kunti Bhojascha
Purujit Kunti Bhojascha
Saibhyascha Narapungavaha
Narapungavaha
Drishtaketuschekitanaha
Drashtaketuschekitanaha Kashirajasya Vidyavan Kunti Bhojascha Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha.
Okay, so here in this sloka, Duryodhana is continuing to recount few more warriors from Pandava side, Pandava army. That is Drishtaketuhu, who is a son of Sishupala. That is again, all these are Maharathas. He's going to say that all of these are Maharathas, so they all can fight with tens of thousands of warriors at the same time. Chekitanaha is another warrior, and then Kasi Rajascha Vidyavan. So Kasi Raja is king of Kasi. Okay, so he's another warrior. Then Purujit. Purujit is the cousin brother of Kunti. He's another warrior. Kunti Bhojaha is brother of Purujit. another warrior, and Saibyaha, Saibyascha Narapungavaha. So Saibya is another king of Sibi kingdom. Okay, and he's the father-in-law of Yudhishthira, Dharmaraj. Narapungavaha is a great personality, great of men. Okay, so all these he recounted. Okay, so in this sloka, how many are there? Dustaketuhu, Chekitanaha, Kasiraja, Purajit, Kuntibhoja, Saibya. Total 6, right? So in the previous sloka, he recounted 3 warriors, and in this sloka, he recounted 6. Total 9 so far, right? Not counting Drishtadyumna and the Pandavas, 5 Pandavas. They are all equally powerful. So not counting them, these are the ones he listed in the last 2 slokas. Okay.
Shishupal's son is on the Pandava side. I don't know.
Yeah. So after his father is killed, he's placed by so Pandava side, right? So he I mean, in those days, so just before the start of war, the Pandavas and Kauravas, they approached all the kings, and they they asked which side you are on. Okay, so it was like a world war. So they have to take one side. They could not stay, neutral. Okay. Most of the kings, they have to. Yeah. Yep. So, so all these kings are now fighting on the side of Pandavas, and of course, Duryodhana is going to recount the kings who are fighting on his side, the Maharajas who are fighting on his side. We will see that also today. Okay. Sloka 6. We'll go to Sloka 6. Sloka 6. युधामन्युश्च विक्रान्तः
युधामन्युश्च विक्रान्तः
उत्तमौजाश्च वीर्यवान्
उत्तमौजाश्च वीर्यवान्
सौभद्रो द्रौपदेयाश्च
सौभद्रो द्रौपदेयाश्च
सर्व एव महारथाः
सर्व एव महारथाः
Let's chant together.
युद्धमनुष्य विक्रान्तः उत्तमौजाश्च वीर्यवान् सौभद्रो द्रौपदेयाश्च सर्व एव महारथाः.
Okay, so he's now in this sloka, Duryodhana is continuing to recount a few more warriors from Pandava side. So who are they? That is Yudhamanyuhu is Prince of Panchala. Okay, he is kind of given the position of bodyguard of Arjuna, right? So he is right next to Arjuna, always guarding him. Okay, then Vikrantaha is oh sorry, Vikrantaha Yudhamanyu. So that is mighty um, mighty Yudhamanyu, and Uttamaujaschya Vidyavan. So that is powerful, very powerful Uttamaujas. I mean, this is Vikrantaha Vidyavan. These are like adjectives that are given to all these powerful warriors. So we will see, we have seen those. So we Uttamaujas, Chavidyavan. So Uttamauja or Uttamaujas, if you're saying in English, Uttamaujas, the son of Subhadra. Sorry, Uttamauja is another warrior. Okay, Uttamauja is another warrior who is Vidyavan, very powerful. Then Subhadraha Saubhadraha is son of Subhadra. Okay. Draupadeya is sons of the Draupadis. Okay, let me clarify. So Subhadraha is a singular. Okay, I might have not pronounced it correctly. Saubhadraha is son of Subhadra. Draupadeyaha. Okay, Draupadeyaha is a plural. Sons of Draupadi. So 5 sons of Draupadi who are born to the 5 Pandavas. Okay, so Saubhadraha is son of Subhadra is Abhimanyu, and Draupadeyaha is sons Draupadeyaha, 5 sons of Draupadi. Sarva eva Maharathaha. Sarve eva Maharatha. If you split it, it becomes Sarve eva Maharathaha. So all these are great Maharathas, are great warriors. So he, how many we counted in this sloka? So he said Yudhamanyu, then Uttamaujas, then Abhimanyu, and 5 sons of Draupadi. Okay, so 3, and then 5 sons of Draupadi, so 8. So in the previous sloka, it was 6. So 8 plus 6 is 14. And previous to that is 3. So total 17 warriors he recounted. And then before that, he said Drushtadimna, right? So that is the chief of Pandava army. So he is also Maharadha. So the total 18 warriors he counted on Pandava side, apart from the 5 Pandavas. Okay.
Sir, I have one question.
Sure.
I am not understanding the use of chapter 1. Like chapter 2 and all, God gives some message and people can learn from that message. What are we supposed to learn by knowing, okay, 18 Maharathas are at Pandava's side and maybe 22 Maharathas are at Kaurava's side? Because the people who composed Bhagavad Gita are very intellectual people. They just don't put these names and the counts there without some inner meaning.
Yeah, very good question. So first and foremost, this is not a story that somebody wrote. Okay, so it is not like I want to give a message, so let me write something. Okay, so this is as it happened. Okay, so that's the first thing. And I'm glad that you asked that question. I might have not said that earlier. So it is, we are reading it as a story, but it is not story, it is history. It is as it happened. So when we are doing things, we don't really think, oh, I need to give a message to somebody and then that is what I will do. No, right? I mean, we keep doing, and somebody is writing as it happened. They will write exactly what happened. It's not like I want to change the, oh, I don't like this, so I should change it. No, if that was the case, then they should have totally removed the Draupadi's disrobing, right? Or something that happened, that we don't want to give that as a message. Oh, let me just take it out, right? So it is something that exactly happened. So Duryodhana spoke these words. Okay, there is no one saying that, oh, these words are not useful for as a message, so let me not put them. Or let me just say, oh, Duryodhana spoke these 18 words, 18 names. Let me just put only one or two and then just move on. Why say all these things? It doesn't make sense. Duryodhana knows, Dronacharya knows, we know who are all the people who are fighting, right? If we are really reading Mahabharata, we know all these people and all that. So, I mean, there is nothing that is new for us. So let me just remove it. They never did that. Vyasa never did that. So it is exactly as it happened. Okay. So that is one. Second is, yes, this chapter also has a very important message. Okay. I mean, as important as any other message in Bhagavad Gita, like knowing about Atma, Paramatma and all that, that's also important. But this chapter is as important as knowing about, Atma, Paramatma, Prakriti. That's what we will learn chapter 2 onwards, right? Why is that when it is like if somebody is really enjoying their life, typically they do not try to seek what is really needed. Okay, they don't see the importance of getting that particular knowledge. Only when somebody is troubled, we try to get the knowledge. So that is one aspect of it. Like there is a sorrow. So when there is sorrow, we are trying to approach somebody and trying to get rid of the sorrow. Okay. Now there are three people who felt sorrow in this particular chapter. First is Dhrutarashtra. Dhrutarashtra felt sorrow. Second, Duryodhana felt sorrow. And third, Arjuna felt sorrow. Now, how we address the sorrow is the most important thing. When we are when we are down, when we are depressed, when we have misery, sorrows, if we don't know how to address them properly, then we will never improve, right? See, when we have all the things that are given to us, we definitely don't think of anything to change and improve, right? We just keep enjoying those things, right? Now, if we all at the time of sorrow, also if we don't properly address it, then we'll never grow up, right? I mean, typically the reason why one may not be open to accepting this knowledge is because they don't see the need for it. The reason is that they already have everything that they want, and which is typically the materialistic things. So when we face with some kind of a problem, when some kind of a misery, distress, sorrow, that is when we realize, man, why am I not, I'm not happy. So why am I not happy? How can I get, how can I overcome this, right? So that is right. We need to understand how to address Vishada. If you don't know, then Nobody can save us. So it starts with Vishada. This Bhagavad Gita starts with Vishada of three people, and one person is successful in addressing the Vishada in a proper way. That is Arjuna. Arjuna's Vishada is addressed. He addressed his Vishada properly. So we'll learn from that. We will learn from Dhrutarashtra and Duryodhana's examples in how not to address it, the way they addressed it. So Dhrutarashtra approached a servant of his, who, even if he knows, what is right, he will not be able to say it freely to his boss, right? Who is Dhrutarashtra. So Dhrutarashtra, when he approached Sanjaya, I mean, he exactly said what happened in the war field. Okay, again, Sanjaya did not change a word. Okay, so he recollected whatever Duryodhana is speaking to his guru, or Arjuna is speaking to Krishna, or Krishna speaking to Arjuna, all these conversations that are happening in the war field, and how the war is being waged in Kurukshetra. He exactly recounted that to Dhritarashtra. And he also mentioned that wherever Krishna and Arjuna are there, there is victory. So he gave a kind of a message to Dhritarashtra that Pandavas are going to be victorious and Kauravas will lose, So he gave it, but he did not, he is not in a position to say it in a way so that Dhritarashtra will listen to him, right? And Dhritarashtra, because he approached his servant, he is not in a position to accept that message. I mean, why would I go to servant and then take their advice, right? That is kings are like that, their ego and all that. So he was only interested in listening to what happened. When the message of advice came, when the advice came, he was not recipient. Of course, he was not able to receive that advice because of his tamasic nature. Okay, so his Vishada was tamasic. We'll learn about tamas, tamas, rajas, and sattva as we go along in Bhagavad Gita. But basically, he was ignorant. He was not receiving that message. He's blind, so he cannot see. He's physically is not. He is not able to see. Whatever he heard, right? He need to process that in his manas. We translate it to mind, in a loose way. So he needs to process that in his mind and apply his buddhi, intellect. So in order to take that advice, or address his Vishada in a proper way, he was blind in his manas and buddhi also. So that means he's totally tamas overtook him. Even though the message is there, he ignored that. So when we are facing Vishada, who do we approach? We should not approach somebody who cannot give the right advice to us. Or we should not be approaching them with tamasic nature. That is, I'm not going to take your advice. I'm going to ignore it, right? Being ignorant, being, not processing it correctly, being blind to the message is what Dhritarashtra did. So he did not address his Vishada properly. So that's why he lost. Okay. He lost all his sons. He lost his kingdom, and he was so unhappy. Okay. So that is Dhrutarashtra's sorrow. Then Duryodhana's sorrow is, he was having ego. He was arrogant, and he, that because of his ego and arrogance and
Rajas.
jealousy. Yeah, exactly. Jealousy. He could not take, take uh, the message that, oh, Pandavas are now, very well organized, and they're, powerful. So he couldn't take it. He was feeling miserable. He was feeling that distress, sorrow. So Duryodhana, what did he do? He ran to his guru, and instead of taking advice from his guru, okay, he only shouted at his guru, gave him orders, did not listen to a single word from Dronacharya, his guru, and then he went back. So when we are having that sorrow, Vishada, we need to, when we approach somebody like a guru, now yes, guru is in a position to give advice to his disciple, right? Not like Sanjaya, Dhrutarashtra example. Like Sanjaya is not in a position to give the advice, even if he knows. He cannot, if he says something really harshly to his boss, his head will be chopped, right? So he will say something very smoothly, politely, in politically correct way or something like that, and then the person who is receiving the message won't get it. Now, when what Duryodhana did is, in a way, good thing that he approached his guru. So he went to somebody who can actually advise him, who is in a position to give the advice. Now, what did he do? He did not listen to his guru. So when we approach somebody who is in a position to give the advice, we actually need to listen to what their advice is. Not like some, Duryodhana who just go there and shout at that person, express all the, this is why it happened, that's why it happened, and this person is not good, that person is not good, they have troubled me. Whatever you want, whatever is the reason why we are facing problem, why we are facing that sorrow. Now, when we approach somebody, yeah, maybe we can express that, but the idea is not just to blame that person or just to tell and then come back without taking the advice. Now, there is in case of Dhrutarashtra, he got the advice, but he did not act on it. Duryodhana never even got the advice because he didn't even care to listen. Now, Arjuna on the other side, he was able to address his Vishada. We will see, all the slokas. So, just in comparison, right? Arjuna is able to approach Lord Krishna, who is a well-wisher, who is, wise, the wisest of all, or who knows everything, right? So he approached him. Then he expressed why he is feeling that sorrow. Okay. And then he said, I'm surrendering to you. Okay. Give me the advice. I'm going to listen to your advice and I'm going to follow your advice. Okay. So the Arjuna did something that is very, very useful. And it's a message to us, this that when we face any sorrow or distress, we need to approach a well-wisher, wise person, okay, who is in a position to advise us, okay, in that particular, related to that whatever sorrow we are facing about, okay, and then we need to be open and receive the message, and follow that. So that is the if you don't have this right? If you don't know this particular knowledge,
Mm.
right, then we will not be successful at all. Right. So this is very, very important thing. Like even about Bhagavad Gita, right? Now, if we simply start saying that, okay, um, let's start with, okay, we are Atma and all that. Let us start with that message, right? I mean, if I don't know that I should surrender myself to the messenger, be open to receive the message and act on it, then what good is that information to me, right? Like just like Dhrutarashtra, who just got the message and then ignored it, or the Duryodhana never even felt the need to even ask. Okay, so we will not be even getting the message of Bhagavad Gita if we are not in a position to receive it. So this particular chapter is included in Bhagavad Gita because it actually gives us the message. This is the stepping stone for us. So we will. I mean, there is no one in this world who does not face any sorrow, right?
Yeah.
Everyone faces sorrow. Now, when we face sorrow, we need to really understand why I'm facing this sorrow. Okay. So we will know, all that when we go through, right? Why we are having these sorrows. Okay. So if I catch somebody, it's like if somebody just ate and really full, stomach is full and they're very happy, and if I tell that person, okay, I'm going to feed you again, he's say, no, I don't want it, right? So only when somebody is hungry, they are going to eat. So this sorrow is such a thing that only when we face it, then we are in a position to receive the message that we really need. And if we don't make use of it, then we will never, will never improve ourselves. We will continue to have sorrows just like Dhrutarashtra and Duryodhana had. But Arjuna was able to overcome his sorrow, and he was able to, get his goal, reach his goal.
Thank you, sir. You explained it very well, and you implanted that idea into our learning brains. Like you explained 3 scenarios, and out of 2 scenarios, what not to do, and the third scenario, what to do and how to take. Yes, thank you, sir. Understood why they put this chapter as a foundation, starting block, or a foundation for the remaining chapters, so that we will make our brain ready to accept the message given by Lord.
Yeah, I mean, one more thing, very important thing is Lord Krishna hardly spoke in this chapter, in the entire chapter. It is a message for us. Okay. So typically when somebody approaches us for advice, what do? We don't really try to understand.
Step on each other.
Yeah. Badri, go ahead. Yeah.
No. I know when you ask the question, what did we do? We don't even listen, right? We step on each other. We interrupt and
we will start giving free advices.
Advice even without listening. What mean? I don't know. It's not that. It's not that I'm going to even advise. I'm just saying, right?
We don't wait for 1 minute.
This is the classic, regular meetings, right?
Yep. Yeah. So whatever we know, we try to tell, whether that situation applies to that person or not. Every person is facing, a particular sorrow. If you listen to that person fully, and then we'll be able to answer, in a proper way. So listening is the most important thing. I mean, that's what we are learning in our management, right? Listening is a very important skill, not more than speaking. More than speaking, listening is very important. Uh, Sometimes even if we just listen, the person maybe, their sorrow will come down a little bit, right? So listening is a very important skill, and that's a message that we are getting. Of course, when we complete, we will know, oh, Lord Krishna hardly spoke in this particular chapter. Then why is it even there? Bhagavad Gita. I mean, Bhagavad Gita is something that Bhagavan spoke, right? So Bhagavan did not speak is also a message that when somebody is facing some trouble and then approaches us, uh, simply start giving them, okay, this is what. One more thing is that immediately we say that you are a useless person or you should not be doing this, okay, and you have some problem. So that is something that we tend to do, because of course they're facing the distress because uh, because of a particular situation when others wouldn't have faced that same problem, right? Say for example, somebody, a small thing, they lost something, and then they are having sorrow. Another person may be strong enough, emotionally strong, so may not feel that, and they may not cry. Just because one person is crying, don't try to blame that person. Our poor fellow is already crying, then trying to blame that person on top of it, saying that, oh, you are abnormal, or something is wrong with you, then the person's sorrow will not come down, right? It will not be solved. Second thing is that if we don't listen, then our solution will not be, again, will not apply to that person, and the sorrow will not go away. So we need to listen, and we need to give the right advice. Or one more thing is that from Arjuna's point of view, he approached somebody who is willing to listen. So when we are facing sorrow, don't try to approach somebody who is jumping to conclusion and shouting at us, or simply giving something and then saying that, oh, you should follow this, without properly explaining. We need to approach somebody who is a well-wisher for us, and um, who is wise, in whatever topic that we have. It could be um, personal issue, or professional issue, or financial issue, whatever it is. So we approach somebody who is who is wise in that particular topic subject, and will be able to give a proper advice. And one more thing is that we should be open, listen, and follow through the advice, even though we might think, I mean, typically what happens is, like Duryodhana, we just we feel sorrow, and then we tell somebody, and then we think we can solve the sorrow by ourselves, and just continue with our action. Okay, we don't try to get the advice and advice. We don't try to get the advice and then follow through the advice. Sometimes we get the advice and just forget. Again, I'm repeating, but so it is. This particular chapter is so essential for us, from the person who is facing sorrow point of view, and person who is giving the advice point of view, is that how we need to address this situation is very well explained in this particular chapter. So even though Bhagavan did not speak much here, that itself is a message. And the situation, whatever happened between Dhrutarashtra, Duryodhana, and Arjuna, is a message for us. So that's why we have this as the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
And this is true for any situation, but especially true for spiritual practices. So if somebody is not mentally ready, we should not go around and keep on forcing them. Oh, you practice yoga, you come to Bhagavad Gita class. We should not do that, because sometimes it could actually have a negative impact. So we have to, see the other person's status and their, their maturity and all that. And more importantly, their faith, right? Are they actually believing the practice? So,
Right.
that's why you don't see a lot of people, right? So, which is okay, but so thank you so much. And a great message.
Sir, I have a similar question. Suppose a person has a lot of personal problems. Can we take from this first chapter indirectly, rather than going to because the person who is facing the problem does not know whom to approach? Is it indirectly telling directly approach God and talk to him? Can we consider Krishna as a person or Krishna as a God? Is my question clear?
I mean, even if you tell that person, go to God and ask, what is he going to get? Right? So
if you are
this is
personally
a
troubled,
problem.
to whom you will approach? You don't know whether that person will give you the good advice or not. How do we recognize the other person we are approaching is a good advisor or not? Is it better to go to a human, or is it directly better to go and put our case in front of God? How do we decide? And
so I think it's equivalent to saying that Arjuna is lucky to have Krishna to go ask for the help, right? Or even share his Vishada yoga or his Vishadam and get right direction from the Krishna. But in our scenario, how do you get to that? Or how do you recognize that help and seek that help?
So I mean, we need to pray to God to show the way, okay, and give us make us meet somebody who can give the advice to us. Okay, so it is not like when we go and sit in front of God and then start praying, God will appear in front of us and then give, oh, do this, do that, do this. No, it doesn't happen. Okay, so God gives us a way through Acharya, through our well-wishers. So we again, so if we try to approach somebody, we may not be able to, right? So only with Paramatma's blessings, God's blessings, we will be fortunate enough to meet somebody who can give the advice to us, proper advice to us. So it is his blessings, okay, God's blessings, that we will meet somebody who can give the advice to us. So if let us say, I don't want to believe in anybody, any human being, and I just want to sit and then start meditating. Okay, if I am trying to solve a financial problem, for example, or a problem in my project or in personal life or something, right? Or whatever solution that comes to my mind is my own invention, right? Isn't it? So we need to, again, if we need to pray to God to give us the right way. Maybe he will he will give us the intellect to see the problem properly at that time, or he will send us somebody who can help us. He will send us a friend, or some other well-wisher. So it should not be that we exclude people when we are trying to address the sorrow. We always have to include, we have to be obedient to our acharyas, wise people, and all that, to get the advice and then follow through. We should not say, oh, I don't need anybody, I can just simply talk to God and get it. We are not in that stage. We are, there is a story, right? Like somebody who is who there is a lot of floods, and then the entire house is flooded. The person stands on top of the roof and then starts praying to God. God, please help me. The water is rising. Please help me. Please help me. Please come and save me. And then some helicopter comes, and then people say, oh, put the rope down and say, okay, catch hold of that rope, come up, will save you. And then say, no, 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 I'm waiting for God to come. God is going to save me. I'm such a great devotee of God. And then the helicopter goes away, and then the entire house gets flooded, and then he dies. Then he asks God, why didn't you come? Then the God says, I sent you the helicopter. You're supposed to hold it and save yourself. I was the one who sent it, and now you are expecting me to come and directly stand in front of you and then lift you and then put that's not going to happen, right? So the help will come to us in all directions. We just need to pray to God to give us whatever help it may come through. I mean, as a person, through people or the situation, nature, some way the help will come to us. When it comes, don't reject it. So your question cannot be that, oh, should I approach God or should I approach people? It is both. We approach God to give us the strength to address the situation, give us the solution, make us succeed in that particular whatever problem that we are facing, and then be open to feedback from people as they give the advice to us. It is Paramatma's blessings that we are getting the advice or help from others.
Yeah, God never comes in the God kind of a thing. I think just to take an example here, right? Sanjay advised Duryodhana not to go for war, right? Stop the war. He never listened, right? And pretty much Duryodhana went to Dronacharya, I'm sure, multiple times before as well. Even Dronacharya advised him not to go for war. He never. He went to Bhishma. They said no. Right? But I think again, when Arjuna doesn't know that Krishna is the Lord, right? But he basically went to him. He followed his advice, right? He doesn't know until Vishwarupa that he is a God. Right? He is Bhagavan. Until then, he's treating him as a friend, actually, right? Some friend. He went to his friend, right? Until 11th chapter, he went to a friend and asked for advice, and he followed his advice. Right? At least listen to him.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So Arjuna knows that Krishna is the person who can advise him at that moment. So he approached Krishna, Lord Krishna, and you are my well-wisher. You please advise me. I'm not able to proceed. I'm just I'm totally down. You advise me. And then Lord Krishna advises, and then of course in that course he knows that Lord Krishna, as you rightly said, Lord Krishna is the Paramatma. So he's willing to take advice from his well-wishers. I mean, that is the differentiation between, if you want to differentiate Pandavas and Kauravas, Pandavas are obedient. They approach well-wishers, rishis. They take their advices. They follow through their advices. Sattvic in nature. They are getting knowledge and applying that knowledge for the betterment of the entire society. Not about themselves, their ego, their comfort, their satisfaction, their name, their fame. They are not into that. Kauravas on the other side are, as a whole, right? They are Rajasic and Tamasic in nature. They are always looking for their own, their own ego, their own name, fame, comforts, and everything. and they ignore the advice from well-wishers and wise people. So, and they did not recognize Lord Krishna when he was giving the advice. I mean, they kind of knew that he's a great, great among all, right? But still, they were so blind, so ignorant, so arrogant that they thought they can win over even Krishna.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Understood. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good question. We'll move on to the next sloka, sloka 7. Please stand. Asmakam tu visishtaye
अस्माकं तु विशिष्टाय
tani bodhat vijottama nayaka mama sainyasya
नायका मम सैन्यस्य
संज्ञार्थं तान् ब्रवीमि ते.
तान् ब्रवीमि ते।
Let's chant together.
अस्माकं तु विशिष्टाये सन्निबोधोद्धतोत्तमा नायका मम सैन्यस्य संज्ञार्थं तान् ब्रवीमि ते।
So, Duryodhana spoke about Pandava warriors, and warriors on the Pandava side, 18 of them, excluding Pandava. So the total 23 warriors, great warriors. And then he started saying, Asmakam tu. Okay. Now, so whenever this two word comes, right? Especially when at the beginning of the sloka, so you are comparing, you said something and then say, but, tu means but you are going to say something. That means there is a shift, it's not like the continuing, he is great and he is also great, then and comes, right? He is great, but he is not great. Or he is great, but this person, other person is even more great. So there is that when but comes, then it is there is a shift in shift in that whatever the logic he was giving, right? So he said on Pandava side 18 Maharathas, okay, plus Pandavas, of course, they are Maharathas. But ours, Asmakam means our. Then when you say Asmakam tu, but our, that means what? This, immediately you will know what he's going to say, right? So, so he's saying that Asmakam tu visishtaye tani bodhat dvijottama. So I am going to tell you about our leaders. Okay. Nayaka mama sainyasya sanyadham tan brahmimite. So Nayaka mama sainyasya, leaders of my army. Mama sainyasya. Nayaka mama sainyah. Nayakaha mama sainyasya. So I am going to tell you about the leaders of my army. Why I'm saying this, emphasizing my, is because you can see how Duryodhana is speaking to his guru. It's my army, right? So I'm going to tell you about Tan Bravimi. So I'm going to explain to you about the leaders of my army. Okay, Nibodha is saying that you listen and learn. Okay, I mean, you see these words. You know, how somebody speaks to a guru. Is it how somebody speaks to a guru? Okay, I mean, we never go to a guru and say, this is my thing and you listen and learn, and I'm going to tell you. We should be seeking information from guru. Even when we tell something, that telling is in a uh, uh, humble way, proper way. So first of all, we don't just approach a guru and then start telling. That is itself very rude. Okay, even if you are telling something. So we need to seek first, and then seek permission, seek any information. Then we could probably say something, right? But here, Duryodhana is he approached his guru, explained about all 18 Maharathas, and then he's saying, but ours, asmakam tu, but our Nayaka Mama Sainyasya, so is but our leaders of my army, Ye Visishtaha, he's saying that they are Visishta means it's exceptional or special. These Nayakas, the leaders are exceptional, he's saying. Tan Bhavimi Te, I'm going to explain to you. Sanyadham, just for information. So,
Sir, can I ask a question? So sorry to interrupt. So at this moment, either he's not, I mean, there's no guru relationship, right? I think that's what I'm feeling is if he still, accepted him as a guru, I mean, that's broken, one thing. The second is, right, I'm just wondering, why is he saying so many things of, trying to tell guru how great his folks are, right? So I'm just trying to understand, right? Is he himself scared, or is he trying to reassure himself, or because he's talking too much, right?
yeah, yes, yeah, it's a very good question. So why even Duryodhana is saying all these things, is he is jealous his guru and speaks is because he thinks guru is responsible for what is happening. Guru is the one who taught all these people, Pandavas and Drishtadyumna. I mean, he gave this information to the enemy army. Okay, so in a way, he's kind of blaming Guru. Okay, this is the first thing, right? So, and of course, we will learn why he goes to after Bhishmacharya. Dronacharya is the second in line, right? So we will learn that he wants to actually protect Bhishmacharya. So in order to protect Bhishmacharya, who does he go to? He goes to the second in line to order him what he is supposed to do, right? So that is another reason why he went to Dronacharya. He did not go to some third level or fourth level and then start saying something very important, right? So either he has to go to Bhishmacharya or second in line. If he is going to say something that is to protect Bhishmacharya, he can go and tell Bhishmacharya that, right? I mean, he wants to protect Bhishmacharya, so he has to go to who is the next one and then tell that person, you protect Bhishmacharya. said in a humble way, I want you to protect Bhishmacharya, right? That shouldn't have been a problem, he could have recognized that strategically Bhishmacharya is so important for us. So, why don't you please, put everybody to protect Bhishmacharya, or why don't you and everyone, who are very special, please protect Bhishmacharya. That would have been appropriate as well. But here, he went to the Dronacharya and he showed his arrogance. He was frustrated, with the situation, and then that arrogance came up. Like, all these people are there, and our guys, we don't have anybody. Of course, we'll go through that in the next few slokas. So, that shows Duryodhana's character in a nutshell. He's fearful, insecure, jealous, angry, arrogant, egoistic. So all this combined is Duryodhana. And out of that, he does some things which are totally inappropriate. And if we have these characteristics in ourselves, okay, we can't help but do inappropriate things. We won't be able to respect people, elders. We won't be able to approach them for advice. We will direct people who we are not supposed to direct. In the end, who is going to lose? We are going to lose. That's what we are learning from Duryodhana's character.
I was just about to say that, sir, that is what I'm learning. That, if I'm angry, right, if I think I know it, I don't listen to, in this case, right, the guru, right? Or even if somebody's trying to give you the right advice. So as, thinking about the earlier question, the benefit of this chapter, I think this is at least what I'm already learning from these very first few shlokas, that, in that mode, that's what I was thinking, right? He's talking too much. He's constantly telling.
Yes.
Because at some point, right, I think he's also trying to justify, right? And he's saying, I'm gonna go ahead with this.
Yep.
Blaming as well as justifying probably his own decision and his own stand.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he is, he's trying to look down on his own army. Okay. So he has so much ego that he thinks that he is the only greatest person. Okay. And other people, he says, oh, you are great. But, he's kind of saying you are great because of me. Okay. So there are, we see examples. There's nothing in this world that cannot be derived from Mahabharata. Every character in this world can be derived from Mahabharata. That's why learning Mahabharata is going to open our eyes so much. We will be able to relate. Somebody is behaving in a particular way, we'll be able to relate to a character in Mahabharata. Every character that we can see, experience in this world, if we really, without the bias, without the filters, right? If we are really having the sattvic, exposure, like sattvic mindset, we can see the clarity very clearly. When somebody is behaving in a particular way, we will know, okay, this is Duryodhana character, or Shakuni character, or Arjuna character, like that. So, and we ourselves, we behave in mixture of all these characters. Okay, so sometimes we may behave like Arjuna, sometimes like Bhishmacharya, sometimes Dronacharya or Duryodhana or Dhrutarashtra. We have to be careful. So when we really understand this, and then we have an open mindset, then as soon as we again, we will learn. That's the greatness about Bhagavad Gita, that we will be able to understand our own feelings, why we are getting those feelings. And then immediately we will be able to say, oh, this is why I'm getting it. And this is either appropriate or not appropriate. And what should I do in this particular case? If we don't have this knowledge, we will be slaves to our emotions, just like what Duryodhana had. Like he had certain emotions. I mean, everybody gets emotion, like yeah, he's fighting there, and he saw the opposite army powerful, and he's having certain emotion, but he didn't understand. He didn't try to address it properly. He succumbed to it. He just simply did what the emotion lets us do. That is exactly what happens. We'll learn all this are related to sattva, rajas, and tamas, and how we act based on those gunas under the influence of those gunas. It is not inherently us. It is the gunas that activate us more, to do certain things. So in case of Duryodhana, he was that guna of rajasic guna activated that kind of a reaction in him, and he did that. Okay, so I mean, he tried to imprison Lord Krishna. That's the worst thing that he could think of. So he acted based on those emotions without having any control. So now, having this knowledge, when we get certain emotions, we understand, oh, this is why I'm getting this. This is, and this is how I can address it. We'll learn that in Bhagavad Gita. So here we are just showing the characters, right? The three characters, how their emotions are coming. And if you read this as just simply as meaning. Okay, let me just share the screen again. So if you just read it without properly having that context and how one would behave, in that when they are overcome with certain emotions, the words will not tell us what is happening clearly. They will just simply say, oh, greatest of Brahmins, Acharya, keep in mind our leaders of my army, those who are very exceptional. I'll explain them to you for information. What is wrong? I mean, it's just, if you just say it as a matter of fact, like, okay, I'm going to tell you. But here, there's so much, knowledge is hidden here. That's why Bhagavad Gita is wealth of knowledge that is hidden. It may not be in the words. If you put these words in a sentence and put somewhere, we will not really get the message that is supposed to be received from that. It is with Acharya's blessings, with with God's blessings, we will be able to receive that message only when we really surrender ourselves to Paramatma. I want to get this knowledge. Our minds will open up, and of course, Acharyas will we will be able to receive this message from Acharyas. Otherwise, if I just want to read it by myself, I will not get the message that here he's actually saying certain things which are like he's saying, oh, I'm going to tell you, you listen and learn, which is inappropriate. My army, that the ego, having that ego, possessiveness is inappropriate. Then I'm going to tell you about very exceptional leaders from our side, but later he says all of them are going to die. So here he's saying, I'm going to tell about our exceptional people. I mean, that's a sarcastic way of saying, right? See our side, see all these exceptional people. So it is the same, words are same, but the way you say it, the way you are saying to somebody will make so much difference. So these are exceptional, means exception only on paper, or they consider themselves as exceptional. I'm not considering them as exceptional, right? So see, like this, right? So he's really not treating these people on his side, these warriors, as equal to Pandava warriors. Okay, he's looking down on them. He's saying that these people are no good. I got say I'm a project manager and I have 10 people. I don't have any good opinion about them. So then I got such a great team. If I just say that, then it's basically I'm saying that they're useless people. Okay, so if I don't have the good opinion about them, I may be saying on to tell somebody sarcastically, I may say that great people, but they are really not great in my opinion. So that is exactly what is happening here. And again, from Duryodhana, we are learning that he should not treat his own people like that. So he must have looked down on. See, he's going to his guru. Your question was that he went to his guru. He's not treating him as a guru anymore, right? That itself is not acceptable. Like once he's a guru, means he's always a guru. Doesn't matter whether we are paying some tuition fee or whatever, right? I mean, guru is always respected. Okay, so here he is not respecting his own guru. Then you can imagine, will he be respecting other people? He is going to treat them well only as long as they listen to him and follow his orders. The moment they say anything which he doesn't like, he is not going to treat them properly. Okay, so it is a false respect he may be giving, or false good treatment he may be giving to his friends, his brothers, his uncles, and all the people who are around him. It is all him. If you listen to me, if you support me, I'm going to treat you well. If you don't listen to me, if if you try to advise me something I don't like, if you do something that I don't like, if something that is not in my favor, then I'm not going to respect you. I'm not going to treat you. I'm going to consider you as my enemy. There are people who are doing that in today's world also. I mean, so this is exactly what Duryodhana, he considers himself as king, and everyone else should be serving him. He is the one who should be the king and nobody else. As long as they serve him, good, no problem, right? So Guru is not a problem, Bhishmacharya not a problem, all these people, even the elders, younger people, definitely, that's a different issue altogether. So as long as they say something, then he's not going to treat them properly. He didn't listen to anybody at all. And he went by his own ego, his own arrogance, under the influence of Rajasic nature. Okay. So he's going to tell about his own leaders, right? So next slokas. Oh, it's already 9 o'clock. One thing that we wanted to do is stick to the timings. Especially it's a working day, so we'll learn about other slokas in future.
Sure.
Any other questions before we conclude? Yeah, we can take a couple of minutes.
The way Duryodhana treating, we can directly relate to daily activities, and when you have a project going well, not going well, frustration, blaming someone, right? You can pretty much directly can take it to that. I mean, yeah, it's a lesson, right? I mean, yeah, which always happens.
Yeah,
Right.
it's the mindset of a person who is really afraid, fear.
Frustration.
Once you develop fear, frustration.
Frustration
Yes.
kind of a thing. It doesn't go well. I mean, and yeah, though there may not be Duryodhana, but treating someone, right?
In a way, I always felt ever since I started learning, it's probably the best psychology book in the entire world itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, we understand the emotions, the feelings, the reactions of everybody. Like so, Dhrutarashtra or Duryodhana or Arjuna. So we understand them, but we if we don't have Bhagavad Gita knowledge, we don't understand why it is happening, why they are behaving in a particular way, right? Why somebody is doing the same situation, why somebody behaves in one way and somebody behaves in a different way. Why is it happening? And the second is, how can I address it? If you don't have Bhagavad Gita knowledge, one of the things that will happen is somebody is really aggressive. What are you going to tell him? That you do the meditation and all that. I mean, they will not do. Why would I have to do? Why do I have to do it? First of all, he has to understand that what I'm doing is wrong, right? Why would he even consider? Like Duryodhana will never say that what I'm doing is wrong. I want to change. He doesn't do that, right? No. So one who is following in a wrong path will not by themselves try to change. They will. If things won't work out, they will be more and more angry, more and more arrogant and things like that. They'll not try to say, okay, I have to find something, I have to do the meditation and all that. So other thing that people say is, okay, medication, now put them in sedatives. That's not going to work. So we understand, Bhagavad Gita tells us why somebody behaves that way, and we are a mixture of three gunas and all that, and then why somebody is having the guna itself to start with, and how we can address it. It's such a great wealth of information. That if Duryodhana was willing to listen, he would have got this advice, and it would have been great. But of course, Duryodhana was not willing to listen, and there were about 90 plus. When Kurukshetra war started, nobody was willing to listen. That's another thing. Like 90 years, Lord Krishna was waiting, or maybe like let us say 15 years onwards. Somebody is willing to listen to this message. He has to wait 75 years to give this message. Nobody was even asking. Nobody was trying to say, okay, Lord Krishna, give me the advice. They went through so much trouble. Pandavas went through so much trouble. But they never asked Lord Krishna. They didn't surrender to him and say, give me what is beneficial for me, and give me the message, and I'm going to follow it. They didn't do that. So finally Arjuna was the one who was at least willing to listen. Okay, and then the situation, in that situation, he asked Lord Krishna, and of course, it was Lord Krishna's blessing that Arjuna was willing to even ask. So yeah, we will get all that knowledge with Acharya's blessings, Lord Krishna's blessings, and one is getting the knowledge, and the other most important thing is applying it. And it is very difficult for us to apply a lot of concepts that we learn but we will try. We'll try our best. With again, with Paramatma's blessings, we should be able to practice. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, sir.
For the satsang, participating in the satsang. Let's conclude with the concluding prayer. Kayena vacha
Manasendreva buddhyatmaneva Narayanaayeti samarpayami Srimanarayanaayeti samarpayami Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu
Om Asmatgurubhyo
Gurubhyo Namaha
Jai Srimanarayana.
Jai Shivanarayana. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Jai Srimanarayana.
Jai
Good night.
Shivanarayana.